Yeah.
This is the Con Guy Show. We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things con. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Con Guy Show, where we connect fans to their fandom right here from the heart of Hollywood. And this week, we are bringing you a fun travel log of sorts about our trip to beautiful Martha's Vineyard, Martha's Vineyard for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Yes, we, the three of us, we flew out to Boston, drove down to Cape Cod and Falmouth. Is that how you say that, guys? Falmouth?
Falmouth.
And we took the ferry each day over to the island, which was the stand-in for AMITY Island, which is where a young Steven Spielberg filmed his groundbreaking film. And we have forever been changed. My name is Jim. And who do we have on the show with us today? We'll start up here in the corner.
What's up, everybody? Cheeseman, one of the con guys, and screenwriter and Jaws lover.
And Mark.
Hello, I'm Mark Atkinson, filmmaker, actor, and Jaws lover.
And for those of you who may not be aware, this summer is the 50th anniversary of when Jaws came out in movie theaters. It was June 20th, 1975, and we were there on Martha's Island, aka Amity Island, when Jaws, exactly 50 years to the day. And there was a whole weekend of activities, signings, celebrity events. The Orca was there. Well, the reproduction of the Orca was there. A cool event up at the Martha's Vineyard Museum and all kinds of stuff. We are going to take you through. We've got a lot of photos to show you. We've got some great video to share with you. And just want to say, welcome to our celebration of Jaws. We're going to kick it off, right, guys?
All right.
And wait. And Luke, where'd we get these? What is it that we're looking at?
We got a shot glass that says Amity's Martha's Vineyard Week 2025. We got official shot glasses from the island.
And what are we drinking to, as always?
To our legs.
To our legs.
Bow-legged women.
And a bow-legged one.
Oh. Goes down like water. Water.
Pretty good, Chief. I made it myself.
All right.
Water.
So before we jump in, you guys were sharing a little bit, but you have some cool memorabilia. Mark, you have some memorabilia behind you, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can say that again. You can see the Jaws poster behind me, right?
Yeah. But
oh, great.
What was it? You had something cool you were showing us that you said that was a shark from something?
Well, I got a bunch. Sharks from Comic-Con. This one you can't really find anymore. This is probably about like 25 years old. It's back when like Billy Bass was popular. Remember that from like the millennium? And this is
Does it still work if you push the button?
Does it still work?
Well, maybe. I just got to get new batteries. The batteries are probably like 15 years old. But yeah, and it does for the first like 10 or 15 seconds, it sings, it hums the Jaws theme, and then it starts to sing Mac the Knife. Yeah. And I think that's the song they went with, because when the sharks. Yeah.
And we know that everybody couldn't make it out to Martha's Vineyard to celebrate Jaws, but AMC and so many other movie chains are celebrating Jaws all summer. Luke, for example, you've got something from AMC movie theaters, right?
Yeah. So when we were on Martha's Vineyard, Mark revealed that a lot of the stuff had been coming out at AMC, and with Jaws stuff, it's always very high in demand and always costs like double very quickly or quadruples. So it's a big collector's thing. So while we're in Martha's Vineyard, I asked my mom, like, can you maybe stop by an AMC and see if they got this stuff? And then within one day, she literally like bought like everything. I didn't even ask her to do that. I mean, God,
and the guys, we're not going to waste a lot of time because we got a lot of videos to share with you. So cool.
So I got this hat that was
got that
there,
one,
which is what Mark has right there.
Yeah.
I've got my what's
you got
my Martha's Vineyard hat that I bought out in Martha's Vineyard.
You got the chum bucket. Nice.
Number one. That's a 10 bucket, which is really cool. Has a shark, has that postcard lettering on it of Amity, and even the inside is pretty cool too. Look, it has the
Oh,
map.
that's Martha's Vineyard map.
Yeah, so
Or
Martha's
Amity
Vineyard
map.
/ Amity map
That on the
inside.
island, yeah.
That's cool.
And then I got this Jaws
The
50
big
cup.
slurp. Yeah.
The shark on it comes with the straw as well. So you grab that one, and then the Amity sign with the help shark that got
Cool one,
a
the
sick
billboard.
vandalism.
Did
So
you
this
get
side,
the
yeah, just
Did you
water
get the
in
Jaws
there.
head though?
Yeah, and last
Okay.
but not least, you got the official.
Oh, still in the
shark head
wrapping. Yep. I got
thing
that
there.
one
Still in the
too.
wrapping, but I'm sure I probably will open this. Although I'm sure this is already worth more than the actual asking price online. But
No,
my
definitely.
mom got it for
at,
me, so I have to open it. So I can't ever sell this thing.
I got it the night I saw the ballerina. So I'm like, you know what? It was before we went to the island, days before, like a week before we went to the island. So I'm like, I better get it now because when I come back, it's going to be gone.
Yep.
Okay.
High in demand. For sure.
Double in prices. Thanks, Obama.
And Mark, real quick,
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
give us your 30-second pitch for the panel that you and us, we're working with you, but you're going to be moderating at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
That's right. The Conboy, Jesus, the Conman podcast and Kahuna
What'd you
Productions.
call us?
Well, I
Convoy?
said Conboy, yeah.
We're the
It's
con guys.
I know.
Well, we act like boys, and we have
What
too
did I
many
just say?
toys.
The
Oh,
Convoy and
boys. I thought you said con man.
We can be from
Con
toys to
guy.
men.
I don't know. I barely eaten today.
All right,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Take two. Yes, that's correct. On Friday, July 25th at 7:15 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. in room 6A. The Con Guy podcast and Kahuna Productions will be producing the Jaws 50, aka celebrating 50 years of Steven Spielberg's Jaws.
Yes.
Yes.
And you've got some cool panelists and lined up for that. And everybody, the panelists will be revealed. I mean, got a film critic, got an author, possibly. We got some cool video interviews from some of the original folks from the production, possibly some surprise guests. And that will be, and if you don't get a chance to make it down to San Diego, we will be hosting the panel here on the Con Guy show and also elsewhere. One of the other panelists will probably be hosting it on his show as well. So this is really exciting. It's really big. And when we talked about it out in Martha's Vineyard, people were like, yes, that's so cool. So anyway,
Oh yeah.
speaking of
Especially
Martha's
one
Vineyard,
celebrity potential panelist was
Oh,
very
yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
yeah. And as we all know, this is the 50th anniversary of Jaws. We love this film, but let's face some facts that this is probably the big one. This is the big celebration where we still have some of the people that we love from the film are still around. So fingers crossed, maybe. Come on down to San Diego. And if you don't get a chance, make sure you check out the podcast coming up about that. So anyways, speaking of Martha's Vineyard. So I had never been to Martha's Vineyard before. So this is my first time. But Mark, you're from the area, right?
I'm from Rhode Island. So I am from New England. I'd only been to Martha's Vineyard 3 times in my whole entire life. Once when I was probably 10. And then I went more recently, about 7 or 8 years ago, with my family on a family trip just for the day. But this was my first time really extensively on the island. And I got to be honest with you, I loved it.
I did too.
3 big islands in New England. It's Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and then Block Island, also a great island, but a party island. But yeah, Martha's Vineyard's got it all. It's got parties and history, and it's a movie location of the greatest movie ever made.
It was honestly one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But even if we just went,
Yeah.
just not for Jaws 50, but if we went randomly in August, it still would have been awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm already craving it.
Let me
I
give
already wanna be
give the folks watching a little bit of taste of the ferry, one of the ferry rides when we got there.
Yes.
What is this?
Wow. It's all psychological.
people say Barracuda about it.
Come on.
Well,
Yo Barracuda. Everybody says hi.
what?
What?
You yell shark. We got ourselves a panic on the 4th of July.
We got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait,
Yeah,
get us back. There we
a
go.
little bit of misquoting, but on my part, I guess. But
Some Narragansett.
I think we were like,
would be
we were like 4 Gansets in. I mean, come on.
Wait, wait. Did I?
So basically, that's where, for people listening, we showed we were on the little ride over where basically it gives the short rides to the cars where they did the Barracuda dialogue scene with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
What are those little things called that transport the car over? Like one.
That one is called the Chappie Ferry.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's still there 50 years later. I don't know. It's been there, I don't know, over 50 years, obviously. It only takes 2 cars and maybe 15 people, right?
Maybe.
And
Yeah.
it's really only, what do you think, a 90-second ride?
Oh, no.
I think it was shorter than that. The scene felt like it was longer than that ride because
It took at least 2 minutes to get across, I think.
Yeah.
2 to 3 minutes.
2.
By the way, Mark, tell us,
It
what's
felt
this
like
beer that we're
30
drinking
seconds.
and how do you say this?
Do you want to give it a try? You give it a try first.
Okay. Narragansett. No.
Narragansett.
Narragansett.
Oh, bingo.
No, but
Narragansett.
if you go asking for it, you just ask for what? Gansett?
Gansett.
Gansett. All right.
Yeah, we crushed
Man, I
a
wish I had
lot
one of
of
those
them.
right now.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, cool. Once we got our first day on the island, like we were kind of finding our feet, and we didn't know how to get around. But here's one of the first places we went.
Oh,
What is this, guys?
the Edgartown, the AMITY Town Hall.
Yeah. And what's cool? Welcome to Town Hall. We love our visiting Jaws fans. You are welcome to visit during these hours, and we just so happened to be there on Friday between the only 3 hours that it's open.
Wow,
Way to go!
we were either really
in Town
late
Hall.
and randomly stumbled in, or
Yep.
or
Well, here-
destiny.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And people were
Here we
still
go.
working,
Yeah, but here we go. We
that
got
was like this part of the island.
Oh,
It's
very
like
nice.
We're on the
Look at
island
that
right now. So
picture.
if we need to
and
reference
what's
stuff-
so cool? Wait. I think Brody House. What was so cool is once we got inside, we met some really cool people. Let me share it with you.
Mm.
Hey, we're at the town hall in Martha's Vineyard. We're here with
Edgartown Town Hall.
Edgartown, officially.
Town.
Town hall. We're being
And
even more specific. Yeah.
I worked in this building for 28 years, so I was asked a lot of questions about Jaws. And I was here when it was filmed. I was a lot younger, and I worked at the bank on the corner. It's Edgartown, oh, no, it's not Edgartown. Rockland Trust, it's Edgartown National. And my friend and I were working there, and we were looking out the window, watching them film it. And there was Alfred Wild, he had a bicycle wheel, and he kept pulling it up like this, and the Boys and Girls Club came marching down the street, and they'd say to us, my friend and I, back up from the window, because we were watching. And I think there is actually, you can see our shadows in the window.
Okay.
But working here, I can tell you, this is the desk that was in the assessor's office, which is where I worked.
There it is.
That's where the meeting was.
Legendary.
Oh, this is the desk where they sat for the
Yes,
meeting.
Yes, and that's the clock, supposedly. I was just told that. I just got it.
And it all still looks
Anyway.
pretty good. Everything's
Yeah,
still pretty
so-
pristine. They did a good job taking care of it.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you watching, this room has been redone. This is not the actual room with the
All of it's
fingers on the
been made.
chalkboard. We'll see that in just a second.
Came in and asked if they could see the desk.
Yeah.
We always let people come in and look at the desk. The windows in the assessor's office have changed. And if my cousin was here right now, she could show you how they used to be and what they are now, because she worked in there with me.
Because the room doesn't exist where they did, the chalkboard scene and
I
all
think
that.
it was the assessor's office, which was the selectmen.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I tell you what, my husband owned the deli, which is right here, and they changed it.
I didn't know that. I love
Yeah,
that deli.
well, it's now,
Covington.
yes.
Yeah.
and they, he had just changed the signs and said, Amity Deli and everything. And he used to go down and eat. They used to make donuts or something, and he used to go down or made the donuts to supply for them. And my dear friend, who's no longer with us, she had the key to the Orca. And she passed away, and I don't know what happened to the key. I don't know if it went to her sons, if they ever knew what it was.
Yeah.
And my nephew has some really cool pieces too of shark and
Where's the
stuff.
Amityville?
Just wish there was a boat.
I know.
Boat's gone.
No,
All of them.
He doesn't have it.
Probably some collector. If you took all the pieces together, you could probably rebuild the Orca because everybody just took a chunk of it here and there. But
So that lady was really cool. Okay,
Was.
Luke, can you? There we go. What am I doing?
I look
wrong?
so beautifully shiny in that with all Mark's nice sunblock I was wearing.
Sun
But I do.
kissed.
Did you guys see the desk in there?
Oh yeah.
One of the great privileges of the weekend. There we are. Oh my gosh.
We'll
Here's
take
Quint.
another bite.
50 years later, what are we going to look like in 50 years when we're sitting there again?
Quint, Hopper, Brody. I love it. I love it. I love it. So one of the things that was really cool about Martha's Vineyard, and you guys, because we talked about the stuff we got, but like everyone, and for those of you who are just listening, we're looking at some of the storefronts. The stores there just really, look at this, went all out. Jaws wine, Jaws collectibles, Jaws everything. And, a lot.
And I think they sell that Jaws wine pretty big, like across the country and all that. We're going to a Hollywood Bowl thing on Saturday that they're doing the movie with an orchestra. We're going to see if we can track some of that down.
By the way, you know how she spoke about how we were talking about like how the town hall there has been reconfigured just a little bit. I think this video might show us where the original was.
There it is. Yep. That's where he walks down the hallway with this little guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Quint. It's Quint's hallway.
So this is the assessor's office. There's the windows from the meeting. Yep. Oh, I guess that video was shorter than I thought it was. Sorry, how do I get rid of it? Okay, remove.
Yeah.
All right. We have another video. I guess I didn't put it in where we talked to the lady who's in there, and she points to like right across the hall is where the chalkboard was, and those are the windows. So what happened was from that point back has been added on. And so the big room we were in, that room was not there during 1975, but the desk has been moved there. The clock has been moved there. It was kind of hard to hear the lady because we didn't have the microphone. We didn't expect to meet anybody in there. So we just quickly grabbed our phones and said, "Can we talk to you?" And she's like, yeah, that was really cool. So let's move on. Mark, real quick though, I do have to ask both of you, what was your favorite part of the weekend? Both of you guys.
I mean, that's really hard. I mean, I could do top 3 or 4 or 5, but there's so many.
Narragansett?
Drinking an Narragansett. No, I mean, I really liked hanging out there with you guys, but I mean, just all inclusively seeing all the Jaws fans from really across the world. There are a lot of people there from the UK and, England, Ireland, and New Zealand and Australia, probably even Asia. Toronto. Remember that guy from Toronto, the Poster Man?
Wait. Poster Man. Let me see.
Poster Man had a hell of a we did a lot of stuff. There he is, the Poster Man.
We met this.
Maxwell.
His name is Shane. Is it Shane Maxwell?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, I guess we shouldn't be giving out last names.
Well, hey, if you want to buy a poster off him, he's a poster con guy. I don't know.
No,
He had a good hat, not a bad hat.
This is one of the original posters from 1975. One of the original, what they call broadsheet. What do they? I don't know. And he got all the, everybody there was signing it, which was really cool. So Luke, what was your favorite time? I think yours and Mark's might cross over a little bit. Mine did.
Well, I have at least kind of 3 things. First, like go to the Greg Nicotero panel, and actually sitting there with Jaws fans, meeting him again, doing the whole kind of panel where he went through and even talked about the effects in the original movie was just really
and we
cool.
have a little clip from that panel, but here's myself and Luke with Greg Nicotero. For those of you who don't know, Luke, tell us who he is.
Greg Nicotero, he's pretty much the biggest special effects and monster makeup, special effects, all that stuff. He's the Tom Savini of today. Like, was part of his productions early on, but he's the guy that does all like the big movies with like zombies, Walking Dead, like doing all. He's directed episodes, in charge of all that stuff. Created the whole style for Walking Dead and just Creepshow, all sorts of other things. And he's done several models of some of
he was
like,
the showrunner for 2 seasons of Creepshow. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So like,
And he restored Bruce, didn't he?
Yeah. And he's one of the biggest collectors out there. What's cool is that he's done so much stuff, but then he still like nerds out more so than all of us. When he was sitting there in the room, he's like, I apologize to anybody here that I probably outbidded you on Jaws memorabilia. Cause he like, anytime there's a Jaws like auction, he would just like go crazy and have to have like everything. So it was cool at the museum, a lot of the stuff. And even the replica of the head was even his of, when the head pops out.
Ben
Gardner
said, yeah. Gardner. Well, and like what's cool is Greg Nicotero. He's a big time Hollywood producer, makeup artist. He does directing and everything now, and he developed. But it's almost like the baton of the Jaws, custodian of the Jaws fanaticism has been passed on to him. It's almost like he's the guy in Hollywood who is now, him and Steven Spielberg are carrying the Jaws torch, and like you guys said. The Academy Museum, the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, is having a big Jaws retrospective that begins end of August, beginning of September, I think.
Yes. September, right.
Yeah, and Greg Nicotero, he's the one that he restored the last remaining mold of the Bruce the Shark from the film. They got it from the junkyard.
Play for Universal Studios after the movie was such a success. They took the original mold and made a fourth one that would hang there at Universal Studios. So as a kid, he was even there by the shark, and then later not knowing that one day he would be the one to restore it and it would be in part of the Hollywood Museum. So, and I think from that they may have made more. Hopefully, have another mold or made a mold from that. So maybe one day Jaws can live again. We shall see.
So, Luke, you have 3 top things that you were excited about. Greg Nicotero is one, but keep a hold of your next 2. We have a clip of Greg Nicotero, speaking of which, and this is the perfect time to share it.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. There's a lot of great Jaws stuff going on, so I'm really honored that you guys are here. For me, I think the most exciting thing that I want to talk a little bit about today. I'm going to talk about my association with sharks and special effects and the movie itself. So when I was 6 years old, my parents went fishing in the Bahamas, and my mom caught a dusky shark. They were fishing for tuna, and my dad was a huge movie buff, so he was filming it all with a Super 8 camera. So when I was 9 years old, I had Super 8 footage of my mom catching a shark, and they bring the shark along the side of the boat, and they bring it up on the boat, and the captain of the boat shoots it. It's still alive, and it starts coughing up fish, and it's like coughing up whole fish that is swallowed whole, which is kind of like the scene in Jaws. So when I was a kid, so what they do when they do a taxidermy of a shark is they take the jaws, and then they find a shark that's roughly the right size, and they run a fiberglass shark, and they put the jaws in it, and they stick it on the wall. So I had a shark on my wall when I was like 7 years old. And so all my friends would come over to the house, and they'd look at the shark, and how cool, and I would show them the Super 8 movies. So I had this fascination with sharks since I was really, really little. And then, of course, I was really big into models and miniatures, like Star Wars wasn't out yet. Star Trek, Lost in Space, Towering Inferno. I love models and miniatures, so I build stuff. And then, of course, Jaws comes out. And I saw it 50 years ago yesterday, I was telling my son. My parents went opening night to make sure it was okay for us to see. So they took me, who was 12, and my younger brother, who was 10. And my mom covered my eyes, like all the scary stuff. So for the first 10 times I saw the movie, I never saw Chrissy's remains on the beach because I was like, oh, my mom doesn't want me to see it. So I finally, when I saw it, I went, wait, that's it? I imagined looking down and seeing the guts in it. Anyway, the night I saw Jaws, I had a nightmare that the basement flooded, and the shark came off of the wall and started swimming around the basement. So then I decided that I was going to make a Jaws movie. So I went to the hardware store. I bought a big giant bag of sand. I put my friend's arm in the sand and poured red Testors paint on it and shot his arm and then filmed his reaction. And I made a giant chicken wire shark out of chicken wire and masking tape. And I spray painted it with this gunk stuff and painted it gray, made cardboard teeth. And my brother and I would go in the basement and get in the mouth and roll around like we were being attacked by a shark. So when we made the Jaws movie, we thought it'd be a great idea to put the shark in the swimming pool. Of course, it fell apart in about 4 seconds. And I think my parents cursed me for the next 6 months because everything got stuck in the filter of the pool and the pool broke.
So Greg Nicotero, he did the panel from the Martha's Vineyard Museum, and Luke and I were inside, but see this festival happening outside.
That was
Luke,
rad.
yeah,
That could have been one of my favorite top 5. Maybe not top 3, but top 5.
Hey Luke, why can't I? What am I doing? What
You got to hit the little Brady Bunch button.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, and Mark and Luke, you still have 2 more things to go through. But Mark, tell us about what was happening outside the museum while we were inside doing the panels.
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to go into detail about how I got in, or just what was it?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, it was great. It was.
That sounds so terrible. I shouldn't say that. Mark got in. That's all we need to know.
I got in, yes, and I was greeted by. I went up. I got in. I started looking around. It was basically, it was kind of like a farmer's market for the artisans of San Diego of Martha's Vineyard. And I got in there. It was cool, checking things out. I saw that there was a beer tent sponsored by Narragansett. I went up and I'm like, oh, okay. So I need like tickets or something like that. They're like, yeah, you get 2 tickets when you come in. And let's just say I didn't have 2 tickets at the time. And the guy next to me is like, hey, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm like, thanks, man. And it was Nate Jones of Talk Jones Live. He's got his own website and podcast as well. Anyways, so I was greeted by a fellow Jaws fan. Everyone there was all about Jaws. There were extras that were signing autographs. And, I'm an actor, so I'm like, that's cool. You were in Jaws 50 years ago, but I've done some stuff. But anyways, they had these cool shark candles that were homemade. And it had like a little shark. I mean, the thing is, like, cool shark candle, you're not going to use it because you don't want to burn it. But it was cool. There was music. There was Jaws trivia. I met Roy Scheider's daughter. That was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. I got
the thing that was cool though. The festival there was called Homecoming. It was like Martha's Vineyard Homecoming because it's specifically, and you mentioned it, it was about all the locals who lived on the island and were part of the production or were in the production. Because Steven Spielberg cast hundreds of locals as extras, and they were all invited to this festival, and that's where you were meeting people.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I got interviewed NPR, and then Joe Blow was there. Yeah, I mean, it was just really, really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a good way to spend an hour and a half.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things since we're talking about the museum event, which happened on Sunday. So we arrived on Friday, and just so everybody know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they had the 4 to 8 signings over at the Wharf Bar. But then Friday and Saturday and Sunday also they had a festival that was happening down at the bay. Is it Oaks Bluff Bay? Was that?
Oh yeah. Saturday.
And then Sunday was this event over at Martha's Vineyard Museum, and it had a couple of cool things. For example, Cheeseman, what do we see here over at the event?
It's a full-size replica of restoration of a truck. That's the Amity Police Department truck that Brody had.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Did Hendrix ever drive one too? Did he ever have one in the movie?
I'm not really sure.
I think he might have. He might have drove up to him like, now get in or something. And like when he went to get the thing, I think Hendrix picked him up.
I'm seeing him behind the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the official Amity Police wagon, I would say.
And there was another thing that was there. Let me see. Do I have it here? Yes. Look at this.
Oh, that's a great picture.
There's the 3 of us.
That dude, what's his name?
Hambone.
Hambone.
David Hamblin, I think is his full name, but he goes by Hambone. He's a local LA guy.
If you want to look up the Con Guy podcast, and 5 years ago for the 45th anniversary, we did interview him. He was a local on the island, ran around. He and his friends would break in and climb on the shark, right, Luke, at nighttime, and he knew about the
more so they got to do some of the scenes than his dad, but he didn't break in necessarily because his dad stepdad, who was real close with, did a lot of the work on the shark, the painting, and just other kind of stuff, and then even like I think other stuff possibly in the industry. So he kind of grew up all around it, and he was one of the kids in the background during that scene of when the sick vandalism, when when
and also for those of you who are listening, we're standing in front of a recreation of the Amity Island welcomes you sign that's been vandalized with the shark fin. Help shark! And it's really cool. And Hambone, actually, he works in craft. He builds stuff for productions, right? He designs its sets and things, I think. And he lives out here next to us in Sherman Oaks, which is cool. I thought he was still an Islander, but anyways, I think that's really cool. All right. Greg Nicotero Museum. Let's just say that's
an island if you look at it from the water, Jim.
What'd you say?
It's only an island if you're looking at it from the water.
Cool.
All right. So that was one of Luke's number one. I think all of us can say one of our favorite moments of the weekend was that day up at the museum. It was just pretty amazing. Yeah. Pretty amazing. All right, Luke, what's number two? What's the second one for you?
Number two is just going to the beach where like several scenes were where you basically,
that's on my list too. Yeah.
The official Jaws beach of where the pond was, where the ocean, where Alex Kittner died, where the 4th of July celebration, where the shark goes in the pond. And we got this because I was confused spatially how this all worked. In my mind, it almost seemed like you're looking out at the ocean from the beach, but then to the left is the pond, like there's some sort of break or I don't know, something kind of blocking it all in. But seeing it kind of in its three-dimensional geography just really was cool. And seeing Mark some things he did.
Wait, don't go there yet. But since you're talking about the beach, let's give people a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about.
Shark! Here we are in the scene where the girl screamed shark. I think it might have been Joel's girlfriend, possibly, that they might have said. She supposedly was there today here in Martha's Vineyard. But this is the exact spot here where she was yelling across to Chief Brody and the Amity crowd. And then the shark crossed over there. And then there's even a shot of her standing on these rocks over here where she's pointing that we all reenacted. But this gives you a good lay of the land that the beach they were at was over there. The shark comes in there, and then the pond is over there. So we're going to take a look at the pond.
We're not done yet.
Pull in the pond.
So this is the spot right here where Sean was playing and singing Do You Know the Muffin Man? And then the shark fin was crossing through this direction. And these kids they're swimming in the shark water right there. And then the death scene happened over here. They dragged Michael out, and then they brought him up here, and this is where he was in shock. But this is the other side. This is considered the pond area in Jaws.
What is this, Luke?
This is me running down the rocks as Brody did, which is actually pretty dangerous if you
running on
it there, you could bust your face. Like you definitely need shoes on. I had sandals, so I was being very careful because I probably am older than Roy Scheider was when he did that, and he was probably more spry than I was. But we just from the angle of him running exactly.
For those of you watching, Luke is running along the rocks just like Chief Brody did in the movie when he hurt his son.
On the rock, jetty, flip-flops.
Yeah, and I did notice the bridge had been remodeled because there used to be a lot more things that went down in the water, beams that went down into the water where there was only like a couple, like 2 or 3 now.
All right, one more beach scene.
What's up, everybody? Cheeseman. I am on the Jaws beach right now. Look up at the sky. We have Shark Week being promoted in the same spot that some of the iconic Jaws scene were filmed. So right here, down here is the main beach. This is where everybody who's watching for sharks was out this direction. Now, there used to be a lot more beach here. It's a little more overgrown, but this is probably around the general spot that Peter Benchley, when he did his cameo, is when he was doing the news. He played the reporter. And then basically, here's the pond. Over this direction is where the shark attack actually happened, where Michael and all of them were on the pond area. So when the attack happened, these same rocks is what yeah, these could be the exact rocks from 75. I'm not sure. They may have brought in new ones, but the Chief Brody ran down those, then hopped over, ran across the bridge, then jumped over and went over to the pond area. So this is just amazing right here. Look at this. So this also supposedly was where Alex Kittner had his attack. So the yellow raft and all those tents were over kind of to the side where all this grass area is. So we're just going to show you a little bit around where the Jaws Beach area is. This is one of the big kind of iconic spots of Martha's Vineyard.
Boom. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Boy, I get out of breath easily in Amity. I just stand up on a rock, I'm out of breath. I go into the sand, I'm out of breath, and or just had too many Narragansetts. I don't know. All the above.
And just so everybody knows, we are showing you kind of like some highlights. We have quite a bit of video footage. We're going to be releasing quite a bit of really cool interviews. Luke's going to take us all on a tour of different spots. We're going to show you some of that today. But Mark, I got to ask you, Mark, did you like the beach?
Love the beach, especially the bridge.
Why?
Because I jumped it like a man.
You did?
I did.
Okay. I think with your permission.
Go. Wait, whose video? Yours?
Mine.
I'd rather see Luke's video, but okay.
Too late.
Oh, no way.
Here you go.
Right.
Listen.
Yeah, this is the one I like.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hendrix!
There we go. Wait,
Yeah.
there's a shark in there.
Yeah, I love it.
Listen what he says when he goes in the water. Wait.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, Mark.
Bread and some water.
No, what you yell when you jumped off the bridge?
Hendrix.
Why?
Because I guess that's tradition. That's what they yell. They yell Hendrix, the deputy's name.
Don't know why.
I don't know where it
Jeffrey
came from,
Kramer,
but-
he said, yeah, people, for some reason, kids yell Hendrix before they jump in.
But yeah, yes, you have my permission to use that video at the Comic-Con panel.
So it was Jim's video, not mine.
Yeah.
Who was on the rocks? Was that
I
Luke was over on the rocks. I was on the bridge with you.
Okay, I remember it differently. Okay, then yes, Jim's video we can use. Yes, yeah, that's a better angle, anyways. You know, not just for me, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Can we go back? Let me see how much. Okay.
Well, let's watch Luke's now. Just kidding.
No. I just want to. For those of you who were wondering about the chalkboard scene, I said that we would see the chalkboard scene, but I didn't think we loaded it in. Let me show the chalkboard scene real quick. I think I just looked at it and go. So they probably had a window here they were looking out. I bet you.
Yeah, these were the windows that you see with the yellow house in the back.
Oh, there it is.
It's mostly like these two.
Oh no, me.
We're looking out the windows from the town hall scene. We're in the assessor's office.
Like on the other side.
And she said across the hallway here is where the chalkboard was. And Luke's walking us over to show it to us. So the chalkboard was over there. So have you lived here long?
Yeah, I grew up here.
You grew up with like all the Jaws fans and everything?
Yeah. So
I know you're not old enough to have been around when it was made, but you've probably seen a lot. Okay, well, we don't need to.
What a gentleman.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice. We're interrupting their day. All right, let's see. But Luke, you mentioned, and I'm just going to kind of keep us going here, but you mentioned somebody told you that they yell Hendrix when they jump off the bridge. Who told you that?
Jeffrey Kramer, who played Hendrix.
Yes, Jeffrey Kramer, who played Hendrix. And I think, wait, do we have a picture of him? This is him right here.
Okay.
All right, so do we let's talk for a second about the festival that we went to, like the waterfront festival. What was going on down there?
Oh, music, food, booze, the Orca.
Yep.
Dirty bananas. Lobster rolls.
Lobster rolls.
Wait.
Richard Dreyfuss's wife.
Oh, right. That
Yeah.
was very cool.
Yeah.
You guys had like a cool moment there.
The main
It
things
is.
were the replica of the Orca. That was the whole reason people were kind of there, because someone made a full-size replica of the Orca that was really big. And I think even some of the money from the event kind of went to helping kind of restore that. And then they also had several signings just right there outside of the dock where the
Well,
people
right
are there.
here behind Luke, Luke's talking about the reproduction of the Orca. We can see it behind him as he has, what's the name of the bear again? Narcissus?
We could just not tell them what it's called. Do you have any names?
Narragansett.
Narragansett.
Narragansett. Also, I think this might be the wrong picture. No, there's the three of us and the reproduction of the Orca
That's
right behind
Photoshop.
us.
That's not real. We couldn't have been in front of a boat that cool.
Isn't that so cool? But since we're talking about it, I think, did I? Yeah. Let's take a look at this. Wait. I keep on getting the little commands wrong here. But since we're talking about it,
one again. Just kidding.
so here is the Orca. Right.
Oh yeah.
The guy who built the Orca took my phone and decided, because we weren't allowed to get on it.
Right.
Oh, that's really cool.
There's the barrels.
Even had the barrels. Wow. The cast did get to go on, and so did Greg Nicotero, which was cool.
One more, and here's inside.
Lots of mess in here. AMITY.
Got the radio not bashed by Quinn.
I know. It's the non-bashed radio. For those of you watching, we are getting a tour inside the recreated Orca.
That's pretty.
Bit messy. We're actually living on board.
That had a cool too.
Oh, wow. They have beds down there.
Yep. They're actually living on the Orca.
That's probably how they did the movie, but they never had, like a scene there.
Yeah, which is cool. But also, let me see if I have a picture of this. While we were down at the waterfront, we were able to talk to a couple of people. And one of those people right here, this guy, this is us. And I have a short. And we talked, and like I say, Luke's putting together a pretty extensive video of this guy. Hint, we're going to possibly have a little bit of him at the San Diego Comic-Con panel. But also, this guy, his name's Marty Milner. He was the foreman on the movie Jaws. First guy there, last guy to leave. He helped to build the Orca. He helped to build condition the shark. Everything, every single day, this guy was involved with it. Am I speaking the truth? Did I miss anything? I mean,
no, that's everything he told us.
All right, cool. So let's hear a little bit of what Marty had to say right here. We have had such a great time here in Martha's Vineyard, such a great time at celebrating a movie which means so much to so many people. So here we are 50 years later. Many of us here consider this one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever made.
It's in the top 10 of the top 100 movies ever made in America.
So my question is this. We have come away, I saw it when I was 6 years old in a drive-in theater with my parents in the back seat. It was an amazing thing that all these years ago, I remember that moment. I've seen it 30 times since then. So many people have taken so much away from this movie. What have you taken away 50 years later? What do you keep? What is it that you remember that you take away 50 years hence from the movie?
Well, there are two things. One are the people, like Lee Fierro was a friend of mine. And she's first and foremost a friend, and secondarily an actor. Ward Welton was a construction foreman, but first and foremost, he's a friend of mine. Kevin Pike, he was a painter, and he turned into a special effects director, and he's a friend of mine. And basically, the message of the movie is there are three people. There's Quint, who's a psychotic, who's buried in a long-term trauma. There is an academic intellectual who has a very limited amount of physicality to muster for problem solving. And there is the reluctant hero of a hero with 1,000 faces, the reluctant hero Sheriff Brody, who hates the water and cannot swim and does not want to be on the boat. He didn't say, we're going to need a bigger boat. He said, you're going to need a bigger boat. And the reason he said you're going to need a bigger boat is because he hadn't bought in. And that's that. And those three guys, nobody is ever going to tell you that you're going to be eaten alive. And nobody's ever going to tell a child that they're going to be eaten alive. But this movie, why people go to it is they want to find out how not to be eaten alive. And they're going to either be Quint and try to fight his way out at the last minute. You're going to be Hooper, who runs and over-intellectualizes and can't do anything, doesn't know how to do anything. You can maybe get it with a dart, and then you drop the dart. What have you got? What can you add? Your intellectualism does nothing. You can't physically do anything. And then you got Martin. Are you going to step up? Are you going to do what you have to do to survive, or are you going to let yourself be eaten? That's the guts of Jaws right there. And hopefully...
Sorry. We have quite a bit of footage of Martin. He was such a fascinating person to talk with. And Mark had a chance to do some interview with them. Luke had a chance. Sometimes it got a little bit difficult because we're standing on a dock that started rocking at points and people getting on and off. But wow, that guy was so cool. That guy was so cool.
That he was.
All right. We also, you know what? I don't.
Oh, is that a koozie?
Yeah, it's a Jaws barrel koozie.
Where'd you get that?
Somewhere online. Like, I'm on a group text with some friends, and it's always like, here's a new thing. Okay, yeah, take my money. It's like almost feels kind of like a 3D sculpt kind of thing, but you can take. This is a little big for this one, but size-wise, that fits perfectly. The course is a little skinny, but it can still work well.
Perfect for the Ganses. That thing's rad.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
All right. Speaking of the water, you guys had a chance. We all had a chance. We kind of encountered somebody there during this festival along the water that was also in the movie. He was Sean's friend, right?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the New England.
Michael.
Yeah. And we actually, I'm gonna pull that up, and I'm not.
Sean was playing in the sand. It's Michael's friend.
Michael's friend.
Oh, he got you there.
Oh, I would have lost that one. All right, let's check this one out.
Cheeseman here, Martha's Vineyard with Renee Ben David. Tell us about your experience working on the film and show us the picture on there.
I was 14 years old, did like everybody else, interviewed for a part in the movie, and I ended up being Chief Brody's son's friend in the movie. And my part was called an estuary sailor.
Which one of these kids were you right here?
This one right here is me.
All right.
Tommy Mello from the island. This is Chris. This is an outtake, this picture. Teddy Grossman, who was the stuntman that lost his leg in the movie. We were having an argument. Steven Spielberg said, make up an argument. We didn't have set lines. So my big line in the movie was, hurry up and tie that knot. So it was great fun. If I knew then what I know, if I knew then what I know now, probably have a lot more memorabilia, because who knows what was going to happen.
Yeah,
we never had a clue.
Yeah.
But
what was it like to work with stuntman Teddy Grossman?
Great. It's just I didn't have much to do with him except for that one scene. But he was yelling over to us, "Hurry up! Are you guys all right over there?"
Yeah.
And that's basic. Teddy Grossman. He was a stuntman. Yeah. He was in the orange rowboat. So, but my scene was about 3 weeks long, back and forth, because we didn't film every single day. We'd go there and everything had to be correct, So it was fun. I mean, I got to eat lunch with all the stars every day.
That's awesome. Yeah, which stars and what were they like?
Well, Roy Scheider, Lorraine Gary were there, and then I didn't get to meet Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. We were at different times, but we had a dressing room right next door to Roy Scheider. The three of us kids on the boat, we had our own dressing room there, and it was great. We had a lot of fun.
What was it like seeing the shark, like in person? Like, was this the fin or was this the full body mechanical shark?
This part here was just the tail and the fin on the mechanics and being towed by the boat. And, was I afraid of it? I think everything was happening so quickly you didn't have time to be afraid. And we were so excited. Yeah, so being 14, I just went with it,
So you got to see the full shark and the mechanics and all that.
Sharks right over here in the harbor.
Yeah, Shark City.
Yeah, Shark City. And my dad was the harbor master at the time. And he got into knowing a lot of people that were Joe Alves, for instance. He got talking with Joe Alves. He ended up loaning Universal Studios the harpoon gun that was in the movie, belonged to my dad. Yeah, so the greener harpoon gun. But other than that, I think it's been more fun in the last 10 years than it was when I was in the movie.
Yeah.
It's gotten so crazy with all the people, the fanatics out here. And I mean, look at Oak Bluffs today. It's crazy. Who would have known?
Yeah, who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
Who would have known? This is amazing. Can you wish Jaws a happy birthday?
Happy 50th, Jaws.
I think talking to the locals who are involved with the production it's just as invigorating and exhilarating for me as it is, talking to, Richard Dreyfuss or not quite. I would love to talk to Steven Spielberg, but
well, the funny thing about being there is you could get have an Uber ride or go to a store and it's like, yeah, I remember that I was doing, and it's like, oh my gosh, like you can get so many stories just from like anybody there. There's not anybody, but there's a lot of people there that are just locals that have a lot to say about it, and they're all characters and personalities just like they were in the movie.
Yep. All right, so we are kind of getting close to the end here. I just want everybody to know, San Diego Comic-Con, if you get a chance, check out the panel. We'll have a little bit more time down there, but we are going to be releasing a series of videos with all the content that we were able to collect while we were out in Martha's Vineyard. It was such a great time. I don't want us to go away, though, without mentioning this gentleman.
Yeah, that guy was great.
We have a great interview with him. It's named, that's right, Gino. Mark, tell us about this man, what we know about him.
Well, there was this older curly-headed lady in the gift shop. What?
An older curly-headed lady. I love that.
I mean, she had really curly hair. It looked like a perm.
By the way, whoever took this picture, this is one of the most artful, cool pictures I've ever seen.
That's great. That's not me. It's Cheeseman probably. But she was saying that across the street that there's this character sitting on a bench, and he was around when Jaws was made, and he was in Jaws.
Yep.
So, I think Luke was kind of puttering around in the back of the store, and you're like, oh, let's go talk to him. And I saw you run out. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, come with me. And then Luke followed, and then next thing you know, we start talking to this guy, and you're like, oh, we got to record this. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I don't know. Are you going to play some of this? I don't want to give away.
No. I didn't include video from this. It was such a great interview. He was rather lengthy, so I figured we didn't have a lot of time in the podcast. Today's just the highlights, but his interview is so fascinating. He did know everybody from the film. Yeah. He has a great story about Murray Hamilton. We'll leave it for when the interview comes out. I love it.
You want me to say about the interview or?
Yeah. No, let's not talk about let's not give the interview stuff away because it might be in your in your panel. Who knows?
Well, we can't say this. So in the film, he was in the chalkboard scene, and then
he was in the room.
And he used to date, I think it was somebody who did the wardrobe department or the casting. It was the casting director.
Yeah. No, he dated the casting director.
Yeah,
that's one way to get some roles.
Yeah. So he kind of got in there, and then he's been a local, and owns 40% of that little area. So he has his name on the bench.
We were sitting there doing the interview, and there's this series of benches that were dedicated to the fathers of the town. The great men who. And Gino is sitting on Ginos Bench. I mean, it has his name, and we're like, wait. And then we find out later he owns about 40% of the downtown area. Of course, some of the ladies that we were hanging out later said he came into town a barber, and now he owns 40% of the town. Let's just say they, not us. They suspected that there might be mob ties. I'm not going to say that because we can
You
get in
better
trouble.
watch your back, Jim.
I'm not going to watch my back. All right.
You better have eyes in the back of your head.
Just real quick, tell me, you guys. Here's a picture I want to talk about.
That was fun.
I love this photo. Hey, Mark, what are we looking at? For those who are just listening,
got a cage.
I look like I just dropped my harpoon.
The water.
We are in a shark cage, and we're at an event. What's the event we're at? Cheeseman, what's this?
Spanish lady. So we were. So the wharf every day from the 20th to the 22nd, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they did almost like their own little convention area. So there was just a very small thing of kind of like vendors, but mainly like people that were associated with film doing signings and all that. And they catered it. Well, the restaurant did some food type stuff, but basically they sold a ticket for each day. But
and we gotta give credit where credit's due. Michael Fulcher, he was the person. He's a local there.
Yeah.
Michael Fulcher put together an incredible,
which got a lot of the cast and crew out there.
Yeah, good. I mean, props to Michael Fulcher for doing this. So that was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing.
And I got 2 signings from it.
Wait. And who did you get, Cheeseman?
I got Jeffrey Voorhees right here. He played Alex Kittner. So he's a local of the area and used to work there at the.
Wait, that's this guy. That's this guy right here.
Yeah, the one you're showing right there. Same picture. So he signed that. So I got to get this thing framed, and hopefully we've already interviewed him before, but hopefully we'll have more stuff coming with him as well. And then this was my number 3 moment right here. I know you guys have been dying to find it out. Was meeting Richard Dreyfuss and got him to sign something for me. Which
all right, since you mention it, I've got to share this. Here we go. Wait. No, I keep pushing the wrong buttons. Since you mentioned you got Richard Dreyfuss to sign it, one of my coolest moments was watching Luke make Richard Dreyfuss laugh. This was pretty amazing.
That you're going to ignore this particular problem until it swings up and bites you in the ass. My Christian mom loved that laugh. I did a recording of that for like a picture thing, but it's the only time I was allowed to openly swear about my mom is with doing an impression. What about Bob? So, yeah, thank you for your words. Did you give me a premise? Did you give me a card yesterday?
There's Richard's wife. So we're watching Luke talk with Richard Dreyfuss, and Richard Dreyfuss is thoroughly entertained. Richard Dreyfuss was thoroughly entertained by Luke. I just thought that was so awesome just to watch that. That was so cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. I did get one more signature while I was there, actually from 2 people. I got Joe Alves' new book, which is the Adventures in Film Design by Joe Alves and Dennis L. Prince.
Okay, mad props to Dennis Prince. We were his guests one night at this event. That was very cool.
Yeah, and they both signed the book for me.
That's fantastic.
So I look forward to looking more through this. It's got so many pictures, so many stories and things, and a lot of like Joe's art and all that. You can see that there's Jaws 3 right there, which Joe directed and did the shark design for that one too. But
and by the way, that's the book that book that Greg Nicotero had on sitting next to him during his panel.
One of the biggest icons ever. We love Spielberg. We love a lot of the people, but there's a lot of people that were involved in the production of Jaws, and Joe Alves was one of the biggest components designing the orca and the shark for Jaws that I think we can all, those who love Jaws, will fanboy over.
Yep. All right. I got to kind of like maybe rush us just a tiny bit because there is one of my favorite things happened at the end of the week, and it involved Mark, but I'm going to wait till the end of the show for that. But we did one of the most amazing moments. All right. I got to say was when we went out to see the Brody House, which no longer exists. It now looks because they tore it down. The garage exists, right? But they tore it down, and behind us, you can see what it kind of looks like now. But This was one of my favorite parts. We did get a chance to go out and talk to some folks. Wait, well, let me just let you watch it.
Hey, it's Cheeseman here. I am at the Brody House from Jaws. It's at 265 East Chop Drive. So right here is pretty much the same shape of the original garage right there. And then the house, unfortunately, was torn down and rebuilt. But basically, the shot you see when Brody's pulling out is from around this little driveway, backs out, and then turns kind of towards those two houses, which those two houses are the original ones that used to be there. So again, this is 265 East Chop Drive. So you do get still a little bit of the view. More things have kind of grown up, but here's a part of movie cinema. And then in between the houses is where they kind of walked out, and they were on the play set where Sean and Ellen were swinging on. So we basically exited the house and then backed out there. So.
And then I thought Mark was causing a commotion, but it was these locals.
I was.
Can we get you talking about it?
No, I don't want to talk about it, but
yeah, you like the update.
No. But
yeah.
You try and find a picture of it. It was, forget it. It doesn't look like a Dutch colonial. It was white. That was not there, or maybe it was some rickety.
This is a neighbor of the house telling us about the house.
Yeah.
It's beautiful now, but it was just this falling apart. And the only way you can tell that it was ever the original is to go around, and you can see the bump out where they filmed all those great scenes of the shark and all that stuff. But anyway,
the garage looks like it's the same garage, just
did they keep the same garage?
I think they just beautified it. I've never
it's
been
the exact
back
same
to see
shape as
where
it used to be.
The dock, the nice little dock that the kids were playing on and all that. But anyway,
the two houses down the street, though, those two houses still look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no. This was like a really. It was white. It was a box. Yeah. I mean, it didn't look like. It looked like nothing cute Vineyard at all. It was just it. So now. You were in the movie? Oh no! I worked here during the movie, but yeah, I worked for the Chamber of Commerce.
Love how she was reluctant, and then here's the 10-minute interview.
All my friends were
Oh, Lisa.
Freezing was horrible. Yeah, but no, I wasn't in it. My boss was in it.
What'd your boss do?
My boss ran the Chamber of Commerce, and he's in one of the little hospital scenes when they take the kid into the hospital.
Okay.
Nice. My boyfriend's aunt.
This is the part where the husband's like, "All right, honey, we gotta go."
I know.
Heavyset lady.
Look at him.
Really?
Sorry, Carl.
Right before the dog disappears and all that.
Yeah.
But
no, it's great. Like this lady is fantastic. The interview goes on for a little bit longer, but
Lisa and Carl.
They were great.
Yeah.
I gotta say how that, I didn't get it, but how it started when you thought it was like my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
She's walking behind me. She's probably like 20 feet behind me. And she goes, "It was an ugly house anyway."
Yeah.
I heard that, and I thought Mark was on his phone watching a video. I'm like, "We're doing an interview here. What are you doing, Martin?" I said, "Oh, wait." Oh, I loved it. All right. We do have to kind of hurry through here. We have one that Michael Fulcher, who we mentioned earlier, he did, as the event was ending, he did have a few words to say. So I just want to kind of go to him real quick here at the Wharf Pub. That's Michael.
Thank everybody. I don't even know what to say. It's just been the most amazing weekend. Love all you guys.
You killed it!
It's the most epic community.
Yeah, you did.
Just love you.
Thank you!
Congratulations, Michael. Great weekend.
We'll see.
So
he's got great hair.
Oh, he does have really good hair. That guy, I mean,
it's hard to pull the long hair, hair back kind of look. But Michael Fulcher could do it.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? Because we kind of are coming to the end. I have.
Okay.
We're gonna go out on one video that I have here at the end. But other than that, what do you guys think?
Well, a couple of takeaways. First of all, I know Jaws Fest looked like a little bit of a sausage fest, but it wasn't. I mean, Martha's Vineyard's beautiful. There were a lot of beautiful women on the island. Okay.
It's
go
a
to
beautiful
Martha's
day.
Vineyard, it's a
People are swimming.
No, Mark. Let's stay there. Like, it was a very diverse crowd and a beautiful crowd, and it was great. It was fantastic.
It was. Everyone was awesome, and it's kind of how I envision it. Comic-Con crowd meets Jimmy Buffett parrot heads. It was the perfect blend. They're my people. They were awesome. We met a lot of cool people. Speaking of cool people, when Jaws was made, it was kind of widely known that the Martha's Vineyards were not they were not a happy crowd. They were kind of a crabby. They did not want production. Steven Spielberg there. I did not find that at all. Everyone who was involved with Jaws that still lives there and still alive.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more proud to have Martha's Vineyard as Amity. So
you know what?
the
That's
boat
a
ride
good point,
back
'cause
the last
I was expecting that too. I was expecting people to be kind of grumpy with us.
Yeah, like, what do you want, tourist? Yeah. And the boat ride back from Sunday night was awesome too.
Oh, wait, tell them what happened.
So we had to go back and forth every night with the ferry, and it's just we booked like a month in advance.
It was just 4 weeks out, maybe 3 weeks out. We said, let's go. Everybody else who was going planned a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like things sold out back in January.
So we didn't get a hotel on the island.
that we. What's that?
Yeah. I was just saying we didn't get a hotel on the island.
We had to sleep in bus stops and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
No.
whatever. Ferry to Martha's Vineyard ain't the worst thing in the world. The only thing is a little bit early because we're all kind of night owls. I think the latest one was like 9:30. So we found this awesome underground water taxi that was able to get us back to the mainland at 11 o'clock at night, something like that.
It was like 11, but we had to jump on. We jumped on another group of people who booked the taxi. Who was it?
Yeah, it was a baseball team. What was their name? Do you remember?
Were they the Sharks? No,
I feel like they might have been.
It was it was Martha's Vineyard. I think their name's the Sharks, the baseball team. They had just lost a game 11-0. Sorry, guys, and they were not in the best of moods.
Ew.
And we were a little bit.
It was a very quiet ride, I will say.
Well, except for us, we were a little bit too jolly.
I felt like we were on the
Orca. Like a locker room, which, as it should, I guess.
We're drinking Gansets.
Yeah.
It was like our most Jaws moment.
Yeah.
It was. It was amazing. Mark, that is one of my favorite times. I got to show a picture that I love. This was at the final night of the by the way, I'm wearing the shirt.
We all have a twinkle in our eyes. Look at us.
I'm wearing the shirt I got from the Wharf Bar. The Wharf Bar is right there.
Show us the back. Show us the back.
Oh,
yeah, the back's the best part.
Show us the back. Look at that. That's the coolest part. I wish they just put that on every sleeve and on the front, the back.
Yeah, it was on the front.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's just the shark head coming out of the water. It says Worst Pub on it.
Yeah, so
design. Love it.
Yeah, so all three of us got the shirt, the Wharf Bar. The Wharf Bar is kind of a famous bar. It used to be managed by Jeffrey Voorhees, a.k.a. Alex Kittner, who was there selling his yellow raft with the shark bite out of it, which was fantastic. But no, I was just saying they had this up there. We took this picture right at the end of the third night. This is kind of like our goodbye almost to the island. It was a good time. But
Mark's never looked happier, I will say that.
I have one more thing.
He's smiling here. That is a happy man right there.
Mark is so happy. But we did one more thing after that. That was the cherry on top of this Sunday. Mark got us some mudslides.
Bananas.
Banana mudslides. Mark, you were saying this is like a local delicacy?
Yeah, in New England. I don't know why they're not in Florida or out here in Southern California, but yes, New England mudslides. Yeah. And that one was a chocolate banana, which is obviously the bomb. Yeah.
All right. Guys, we do have to kind of wrap up. I have one video that's going to kind of take us out. We'll end on this
Jim,
video.
do a wrap for us.
I'm not going to do a wrap. But let's go ahead and do our closing here. Hopefully you guys had a good time coming along with us on our trip to Martha's Vineyard, a.k.a. Amity Island, for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. This is Jaws summer. So get out and see the movie. It's coming back to theaters. It's going to be in IMAX. If you're on the West Coast, go see it. Go see the exhibition. And there's all kinds of things happening. Myself, Mark, and Luke, and some friends this coming weekend are going to go see Jaws live at the Hollywood Bowl with the Los Angeles Philharmonic. It's going to be an amazing show. There's so much going on. But anyways, check us out here at theconguy.com. Follow us on Instagram at theconguy, on X, theconguy.com, and on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere you get stuff. All right, Mark.
Friday, July 25th, San Diego Comic-Con at 7:15 to 8:15 in room 6A. You will be hopefully witnessing either online or in person the greatest panel of the year, known as Jaws 50. 50 years of celebrating Steven Spielberg's Jaws.
Awesome.
You should get a tattoo of all that on your chest.
Ooh, that water went.
Hey, Mark, where can people follow you if they want to find out what you're up to?
At the Mark Atkinson. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Friend me the old-fashioned way.
All right, Cheeseman, take us out while and I'm going to this last video.
Okay. I will say this wasn't really planned or thought about this way, but experiencing Martha's Vineyard as three guys felt a lot like we were on our own little boat. And I will just say I had a blast with both of you guys. Mark, when we left you, it was like I was going through a Mark withdrawal. Like within a day, I'm like, why am I not drinking an Narragansett at noon? Where
did we leave Mark? It was a cool spot though. Where we left Mark.
Cool.
Yeah. We dropped him off at Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
Like literally in front of the rock. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has family here, though. We didn't just like push him out.
Right. Yeah, my brother picked me up like 20 minutes later or whatever. Yeah.
But most of all, I will say what I fell in love with the most was Martha's Vineyard. I got my little magnet here. Just learn to appreciate that place for what it is, and I'm hooked. I got to go back. If you're watching this, go to Martha's Vineyard. Go see the locations yourself. It's totally worth it. Just go during a nice season because it can get cold. But hopefully this is a place I go to more. And 5 years will be another Jaws celebration. But I want to go before that. So hopefully all of us can return to Martha's Vineyard.
Or as the mayor says, I'm only trying to say that Amity is a summer town. We need summer dollars. Now, if the people can't swim here, they'll be glad to swim at the beaches of Cape Cod, the Hamptons, Long Island. Go back to Martha's Vineyard. It's a beautiful town. Thank you, Martha's Vineyard, for having us. Luke, did you have anything else?
Well, we do know that amity means friendship. And if you want to be friends with me or follow me, go to Instagram or X and follow me at Cheese on Couch. And especially follow us if you want to be the Amity friend style at theconguy.com and come to that panel that Mark's part of. We'll be doing hopefully more Jaws stuff than that this year, and we are excited to celebrate Jaws 50th. Happy 50th birthday, Jaws.
All right. And with that, we are out.
I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago and it's kind of right to my head. Wherever I may roam, by land or sea or foam, you'll always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home. All right.
I didn't hear you guys singing.
Sing it out.
And if you can tie me a sheet shank, I'll do the USS Indianapolis again for you. All right, folks, have a great night. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Michael Fulcher. Put your hand up, Mike. Let's see who you are. There he is. Great job, brother. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't all be here. You're the best. Cheers, man.